Hey, hi, and welcome back to this beautiful building. If you've been in Ann Arbor, you certainly know this building. It is gorgeous. It is the old Grace Bible Church, and it is now the location of the architectural firm Hobbs and Black. It's located at 100 North State Street, and this building was erected in 1882. So, some history. The Unitarian Church, also known as Grace Bible Church or the First Unitarian Church, is a historic church building, as I said, at 100 North State Street. It was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1978. The First Unitarian Society of Ann Arbor was formed in 1865 and began worshiping in what was once the Methodist Church. In 1878, Dr. Sutherland arrived in Ann Arbor as the pastor of the First Unitarian Church. One of the first projects he tackled in his 20-year tenure was the construction of a new church building. Sutherland raised $19,000 toward the cost of the structure, and the congregation hired the Detroit architectural firm of Donaldson and Meyer to design the building. Construction on the building began in 1881 with the stonework done by the Walker Brothers firm of Ann Arbor. It was completed in 1882. A student center addition was constructed in 1920. The Unitarian congregation used the building until 1946, when the congregation moved to Washtenaw Avenue. The Grace Bible Church congregation purchased the building that year, eventually leased the building to the Bible Church of True Holiness in 1971. Grace Bible Church moved to South Maple Road in 1975. The building was sold again in 1985 to DB Associates Limited, which renovated the inside and outside of the then deteriorating building to house the architectural firm, as I said before, of Hobbs and Black Associates. During the reconstruction and the renovation in the 1890s, Tiffany window that had been covered over in 1930s was discovered. Wasn't that a treasure when going through the renovation and peeling back decades to all of a sudden come upon an original Tiffany? So that's wonderful. So this is a beautiful, beautiful building. Pause when you walk by it and think about the time, 1882, and what it took to construct this stone by stone into this beautiful, beautiful building that hopefully will be with us for hundreds and hundreds of years. So, comments from people who looked at the photo when it was first published on Ann Arbor Townies. Somebody said this was my church while growing up in the 50s and 60s. Somebody else went to a wedding there when it was Hobbs and Black's office. Originally the Ann Arbor home for the Unitarians for about 50 years, then Grace Bible, Hobbs and Black acquired and renovated in 1985. The adjacent home at 110 North State was the parsonage and is connected to the church building by way of a tunnel. That was a comment from an observer of the photo, and my guess is they probably had some personal connection to the current use or previous use of this building. Somebody else who did have a personal connection said, I was the church janitor there for the winter months of 1966-1967. Lots of snow to shovel, radiators to bleed on Sunday morning. It looks better now than 50 years ago. And they were appreciative of the photo being shared. So, as always, let's take a look at history throughout the world. What was happening in 1882? So let's put this building in construction and Ann Arbor in perspective. So at that time, Massachusetts passes a pure food law. I'll have to investigate that. Just the sound of that is very intriguing. A pure food law. It reminds me, I was in Kathmandu not that many years ago doing some mountaineering, and there was a shop that advertised the fact that they had sanitary meat available for purchase. there's a lot of stories behind statements like this and that. Also in that year, Alexander III believes that Jews are the killers of Christ, and the pogroms against Jews have been spreading across the Russian Empire. At that time, they were being expelled from Moscow, and they were fleeing the empire. Also at this time, the Chinese Exclusion Act passed by the U.S. Congress goes into effect, and polygamy is made a felony by the Edmunds Act passed by the United States Congress. Think about that for a second. It wasn't until 1882 that polygamy was outlawed in this country. More history in terms of the Mormons needs to be researched on that, which is what I will do. So again, that's a perspective. This is the beautiful church. From a photography standpoint, I get a lot of questions about the equipment that I use, techniques, etc. That's really not for the purpose of this video series. So please feel free to send me a message in asking any of your camera questions. Again, my biggest challenge here was waiting for traffic to stop on State Street while I was taking this photograph. In fact, this looks like I probably took this on Huron on the corner there. So at any rate, it's always a pleasure to be able to walk around this beautiful town and to capture these photos and then for me to do the research. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this, and please stay tuned for more. We have many, many more locations. Thank you.